My name is Christopher George. I'm a volunteer with the Collings Foundation Vietnam Memorial Flight here in Houston, Texas, and this aircraft behind me is a TA-4 Skyhawk. The Collings Foundation acquired this aircraft in the year 2000 and spent the next several years getting it ready for flight. It made its first flight in December of 2005. This aircraft is painted up as the Squadron HMS 11, call sign was the Playboys. They were an all-volunteer squadron that was put together to pioneer the use of jet aircraft in the forward air control mission. As such, they were the only squadron to use the TA-4 in a combat role. After we received the aircraft, it was moved to a shop in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where we worked with the guys from Sabre in New Zealand, who were pretty well known as Skyhawk experts in the world. And they took the aircraft and went through a detailed inspection and return to flight program, and returned to flight in 2005. The aircraft behind me is our F-100 Super Sabre. It's a 2-seat F model. They were both used for training and in Vietnam as forward air controllers. This aircraft is painted up to represent the aircraft flown by Bud Day. They flew with the squadron. They called themselves Misties, and his aircraft, as the commander, was called Misty 1. This aircraft flew with several Air Force squadrons before being sold along with several other aircraft to the Danish Air Force that they operated until the early 80s, I believe, and then retired them, at which point they were turned over to a company called Flight Systems that used a variety of aircraft for different roles. They used their F-100 to tow aerial gunnery targets. They retired them in the late 80s. Early 90s, and then sold them into private ownership. The Collings Foundation acquired this aircraft in 2010. This aircraft is one of only 2 F-100s still flying in the world today.
Howdy, my name's Pete Vargados. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm down here for the Classic Jet Aircraft Association annual meetings, and we partnered with NWAC and came out here and reunited with an old girlfriend of mine. It seems like yesterday I had a chance to fly it. I was a young B-52 co-pilot, and I volunteered for Vietnam and ended up going through the F-100 school at Luke and then on as a forward air controller. But I'll never forget my 100 hours plus in the 100 at Luke in fall of '67. It seems like yesterday. And sitting inside the cockpit and looking at the instruments, can't remember what it was like, but I do remember coming from SAC, which was very regimented, coming into the Tactical Air Command when the sixth ride was formation landing. I'll never forget the IP says, okay, all I want you to do is put a light on the star and stack high when we come across the threshold, and it worked fine. Everything was beautiful, and maybe one day I can sweet talk Mr. Collins into letting me fly this somehow. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to meet and greet. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This aircraft behind me is our F-4 Phantom. The Foundation acquired this aircraft in 1998 and returned it to flight status and has been flying it for the 20 years since. And with the retirement of the Air Force's F-4 drone program, it is now the only flying F-4 in the Western Hemisphere.
I'm Bob Schuler. I'm crew chief, right now I'm crew chief emeritus of the Collings Foundation Phantom. I've been working on a Phantom since 1999.
Have you had any Phantom experience in the Air Force?
I had a little bit of Phantom experience. I spent one enlistment, and all I did was work on Phantoms. I have one tour in Southeast Asia with the 8th Fighter Wing.
What other airplanes have you maintained?
That's it. The Phantom is the only airplane that I maintained. When I was in the service, if you were a Phantom crew chief, you were a Phantom crew chief.
What are the challenges of maintaining an F-4 nowadays?
Wow. Okay, parts for starters, because they're getting old. There's only one of them flying in the Western Hemisphere. The big thing is people. It takes a lot of people to maintain this airplane.
This aircraft is in the markings of an aircraft flown by Robin Olds during Operation Bolo, which was a record-setting mission that saw 8 MiG-21s shot down in one mission.
The Collins Phantom was actually built, as close as we could figure, the second quarter of 1966. It's a 65 model. That's when the money was released for it. It was built in 66, went to England, served at Bentwater Air Force Base in England. In 1972, went over to Spain, then up to Germany, and was all around Germany. Did TDYs in Libya and Turkey. Came back to the States and flew with the Kansas Guard in Wichita. The last place it flew in the military was here in Houston with the 146th. Went to the Boneyard, I believe, in 93. We got it as a addendum to a congressional bill in 1998. First time we flew was 1999. Our first air show was in the fall of 1999.
As mentioned, this is the Messerschmitt 262 that the Foundation operates. One of 3 in the world. The other one is here. One is here, one is in Virginia Beach, and the other one's at the Messerschmitt Foundation in Germany. The aircraft is a reverse engineered copy of the original aircraft that was at Willow Grove Naval Air Station for over 60 years on display. It is now at Pensacola Naval Air Museum. This aircraft is on temporary loan, and we still fly it and operate it here out of Houston, but right now it's on display at Lone Star Flight Museum. They're good enough to keep it housed for us at this point, and we appreciate their help. The aircraft was reworked and when we first got it by Standards Aviation. They've done a very good job with the aircraft and the systems, and this aircraft is probably the most reliable aircraft we have in the Houston fleet. Of course, it's also a very simple aircraft as far as systems go, so equates to less ways to break. So we're very happy with the aircraft. It makes a big splash everywhere it goes, and it's been seen at Barksdale, the Houston Air Show. There's talks to bring it to other shows during the season, but it's very short-legged. It only has a range per leg of about 200 nautical miles, so we are very careful about where it goes. Fortunately, it has CJ610, GE CJ610 engines, and so therefore they're very reliable and have a pretty long time before overhaul. So we're very happy with the aircraft.
Thanks for coming out to visit us at the Collings Foundation in Houston. Check us out on our Facebook page. Also check us out at our website, www.collingsfoundation.org. Thank you very much, and thanks to Warbird Digest for coming out for this visit.